Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. And today we celebrate the feast of the two of the 12 apostles, James and Philip. James is known as the son of Alphaeus, but we know practically nothing about him beyond his name and that he was chosen to be one of the inner circle of Jesus' disciples, the 12. He is known as James the Less and is not to be confused with James, one of the two sons of Zebedee, known as James the Greater, nor with James, son of Clopas, in the Acts of the Apostles, who was a brother or a cousin of Jesus, later Bishop of Jerusalem, and the traditional author of the letter of James. Philip came from the same town as Peter and Andrew, Bethsaida, in Galilee. In the first chapter of John's Gospel, we see Jesus calling him directly, whereupon he went in search of Nathanael and told him about the one whom Moses wrote. Philip comes across as someone who is rather innocent and naive, and it takes him some time to acknowledge the full identity of Jesus. His character comes across in two incidents in the Gospel. The first took place when Jesus had crossed Lake Galilee in a boat with his disciples and was faced by a huge crowd of hungry people waiting for him. Jesus asked Philip where they could get bread to feed such a crowd. And Philip innocently replied, well, 200 days wages worth of food would not be enough for each of them to even have a little. And then a second features Philip's final appearance in the gospel account. It happens during the long account of the Last Supper. Jesus, who is soon to leave them, tells them not to worry as he is preparing a place where they and he will be together. Where I am going, you know the way. And then we find the gospel today that this is a bit too much for Philip. Master, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. He asked. One can almost hear the sigh in Jesus' voice. Philip, have I been with you for so long, and you still do not know me? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. And then how can you say, show us the Father? And then this is the last appearance of Philip in the Gospel, or in fact, in the rest of the New Testament. Nor does James, son of Alphaeus, appear again. What do we learn from this? I think James and Philip represent those who work for Jesus silently. Our having not a lot of information about them does not mean they did nothing. Because the truth is, they did so many things for Jesus as his disciple, proclaiming the gospel to different parts of the world as mandated by Christ. But they were silent about their work, not having in any desire to hug or embrace the limelight. James and Philip were silent workers, but true and hard-working disciples no less. The example of James and Philip tells us that whether people know you or not, whether people remember you and what you have done or not, whether there are records or there are no records of your life and mission as a disciple of Christ, you are no less a disciple. Because the truth is, it is the Lord who knows you. He knows you well, and He sees what you do for Him. Amen.